So I got the side-by-side shit going now because I was able to get it working on my laptop.
Okay.
It should record like this. Now it's saying Jamil's iPhone.
Okay.
You went out?
Okay. Yeah, I'm good though. And it's like I got it on my computer too. I should have did it on a laptop, but it's all good.
Whatever works best for you, man, because I can still see you. I got to pull up the one text of my boy. I asked him for some questions because sometimes me and my friends, we get a little bit off the rails. So I try to keep it more structured, especially because, yeah, I mean, I try to like keep it within your time frame. All right. This is my man Jamil. I work with him. He's a cool ass dude. He deals with my my fucking rants on movies and all that, entertainment, all that kind of shit. We work together. I asked him to get down on this Brews with the Crew kind of thing. He don't drink, so we just gonna talk about a movie. I asked him what old movie hadn't he seen, and he said Highlander. And I was like, you know what? That movie has like a cult following. I've never seen it. Why not? You know what I mean? So first question I gotta ask you before anything, did you enjoy it? No wrong answer. You know I love the answers anyway. Cool. Okay.
I did enjoy it. I did not enjoy it.
All right. Feel free to elaborate without spoiling, please.
Okay. It kind of reminded me of how you talked about Risky Business, where because of the cult following that I've never seen it. I didn't really know what to expect. So I knew it had this kind of like time traveler thing. So I guess I was expecting something to be I guess high end almost like this master. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, I don't even know where you're going, but
And then, but I tried to look at it from. It came out in the 90s, I believe.
No, 1986. So we can give it somewhat of a pass, but
right. So I try to look at it through that lens, and towards the end, it did grow on me a little bit. I guess my expectations kind of loosened up. I had a better feel for the movie, and it wasn't horrible. I don't regret watching it, but it definitely wasn't what I expected.
Okay, all right, cool. I'm very glad you were able to express that with such detail without ruining it. I'll answer that. I usually ask my friends to give a number rating because I can't, and for this I can't. But what I can say is I can say I rated it not terrible. You know what I'm saying? But I'm only glad I saw it so I can finally say I saw it. If I had to rate it as a standalone movie, because I believe there were 4 sequels, maybe they delved into things, but as a standalone movie, no. I feel like my whole reason behind doing this thing, Brews of the Crew, is we watch old shit and we tell people if it's worth going back to watch. If you want to know what all the hype is about, by all means, go check it out. But if you're looking for a good old action or a good old 80s movie, because 80s had adventure, action, over the top, mindless, no, steer clear of Highlander as a single watch. Now, if you want to watch, again, if you just want to see what people talking about, go for it. But I don't feel like this would do it for most people. So I didn't hate it. But at the end of the movie, I was like, well, the shit is done. You know what I mean? So that's, My next question is kind of pointless. It's kind of a moot point because I usually ask, do you think this movie did well? And I look up the box office. I didn't even look it up for this shit because my whole childhood I have been hearing people who are into movies like I am, but they were adults, talk about this movie like it was great. I already know the following it has. There's no point me looking up did it do well because I guess it did well enough. They did 4 damn sequels.
Right.
And I don't think any were warranted, but it did well. So, because my last question that I always ask, but I'm gonna ask you another one because my friend he suggested more structured questions. Do you think this movie holds up well?
As far as holds up well, in like what context?
All right.
Like, give me like a little bit more description.
All right, cool. My response to this question will be no, because it's not just a lot of these movies. They're old, and you can kind of give them a pass based on the special effects. Because there was times when I could see the fucking wires in this movie. I didn't enjoy.
I saw the wires too.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy. If there's a blink and you'll miss it scene where there's a doll head for Christopher Lambert, and I'm gonna delve into spoilers in a little bit, but there was no reason to have that doll because he was not.
Right.
It wasn't a scene where they gave him a fake hand and a hand got chopped off. There was just a scene where there was a bunch of sparks and shit, and they was like, "Yo, let's put this shit." I don't, so I'm gonna say the movie doesn't hold up well because, regardless of what time, if you just factor in that it was the 80s, that's the only thing that I feel like kept people watching this shit. It was like the adventure, the fantasy, and the action. But now it's 2020.
Right.
We got shit like the MCU where, woo, you know what I'm saying? Because even if you put shitty effects in Endgame, let's say the visuals suck, that would take a lot away from it. But they've had so much world building, where the movie is still good. So I feel like.
Okay. Well, yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. Cool.
Like you're saying in context as far as does the movie still hold up, and almost like you compare it to like a Star Wars. When I go back and I watch some of the original Star Wars, I can see the special effects.
Yes.
But it's still a great movie to me. I still enjoy it. And when my daughter even watches those movies, she still enjoys it.
Okay.
So
it's the story.
It gives you the story is a great story. Okay. Now, is Highlander? No, not at all. You know what I mean? Like, and then the crazy thing about it, my wife actually watched it with me. You know what I mean? Like, so
that's I can't wait to get to parts.
Right. You know what I mean? So she watched it with me, and her response at the end of it was, "I'll never get that 2 hours back." Like, you know what I mean? Like, she was like, you know what I mean? But I can say this though, I felt like the direction and the cinematography was ahead of its time. In the opening scene,
I don't know how they did that way back then. Where that camera flew in,
when the camera comes in over the whole entire arena and it zooms in on him, and they managed just to get the light just to be over his eyes and shadow everywhere else. That was amazing. And then it was like the end where they ended up on top of the building. The angle that they shot it so that sign was just like that bright red and they're underneath of it. You know what I mean? Like,
I can see the artist like you appreciating that. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciated that. You know what I mean? So especially even the way it was a scene where they were inside the police station and the female forensic, and like they kind of almost like a GoPro followed her in. Yeah. And then you know what I mean? Like, so it's like some of these shots that they came up with in the 80s were way ahead of its time. You know what I mean? So it's like, I could appreciate that. But then, like you say, they'll turn around and do something completely stupid. And it's just like, man, you know what I mean? Like, it was, so that, if that was the best thing for me was the camera angles.
Okay. I feel like we're soon to get into spoilers, so fuck it. Let me get this last question. A spoiler free out of it. If you could summarize this movie for someone who hadn't seen it, like, yo, all right, you already said, I imagine you wouldn't recommend it because you say you didn't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, me neither. I wouldn't recommend this movie.
I would basically say the same thing that you said, that if you wanted to, like, I don't regret seeing it because it's something that I've always heard about. Like you said, they did so many sequels, shows about it. So it's
show?
Right. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I saw it to say that I saw it, but I wouldn't watch it again. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you hit it on the nail on the head. Like, if it's something that you just want to see what it was about, go ahead and check it out. I don't think it's a waste. You know what I mean? But if it's like, if you're expecting something amazing, don't for yourself.
I did my best to sum it up. Let me see, because I'll be taking notes and shit. I don't want to steal your thunder or sway your answer. If you could you already summed it up. That's how you feel like you would sum it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how I would sum it. Like, far recommendation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That would be my recommendation to somebody.
Cool. We already got it out of the way. If you want to check it out because you've been curious. But don't, if you scrolling through movie titles and you stop on Highlander, you can almost pick any Stallone movie and you'll be cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just watched Cobra the other day, and even though I nitpicked at that movie, I don't regret it. I would watch that again with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because there were scenes that I enjoyed.
Right.
What do you think? I think yours would be the camera movement. Because I was going to ask, what is a standout moment in this movie for you? I know my answer.
Standout moment.
Or just like you really enjoyed, regardless of how brief it was.
I have nothing in it that really, you know what I mean, that I really truly enjoyed.
Not a bad answer.
Right, you know what I mean? But
real.
there are certain that really was, I guess, a reminder of the 80s era that I enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? Like, the final character, the arch nemesis.
Kurgan.
This is the time. Okay, you know what? I will say was funny that because it wasn't even like I enjoyed it, but it was some parts that really had me laughing. The part towards the end, the whole Cadillac drive, where he's in the car.
Wait. My bad. I shouldn't even ask that because we're going to delve into spoiler territory.
That whole sequence was so hilarious that I enjoyed it.
It was supposed to be a oh shit, I'm worried moment, but it kind of was like, I get what they were doing with it because there would have been no consequence for him.
Right.
But for her, it was like, even if this don't pay, I'm doing this to piss homie off. But if it is bad for you, I quit. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't,
Right.
All right. So basically, it's a cool adventure. It's a cool adventure story with interesting characters. But there are too many misses for me to call this movie good. Like I said, I'm gonna call it not terrible. I'm probably going to watch the rest of the sequels.
Okay.
You know why? Because I found it interesting that this movie has such a legacy that they had a series on USA, like La Femme Nikita. That was a movie, and then USA did a series on it.
Right.
Then they brought the dude from the series into the movies. So I found that interesting. I'm like, oh snap. So, all right, now you already got my opinion. You already got Jamil's opinion. It's my man. Now we're going into spoiler territory, and I'm going to nitpick. I'm going to try and get him to nitpick. If he doesn't want to, I can't blame him. He's more matter of fact than I am because I will nitpick until the sun go up. It go back down, but I'm gonna keep it more brief than usual. Right. I'm gonna nitpick. I got categories.
Okay.
As far as the 80s, I'm taking that into consideration a lot. The special effects. How do you feel visually?
Oh man, the special effects were horrible. I'm trying to put it like the first thing that comes to mind when I think of special effects in the 80s, I think of Ghostbusters. When a lot of the Ghostbusters effects were terrible, but they still, when I watch the movies now, it's still enjoyable to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like the whole sequence at the end with all the ghosts was so bad, and I just feel like so uncalled for.
The first or the
you know what I
second
mean?
movie?
Like
because I love both of the movies.
No.
I saw as a kid.
Ghostbusters on Highlander.
Oh,
on Highlander, at the end of Highlander, when he kills the guy, he receives all the power.
It was it was not only over the top. It goes into one of my biggest gripes about the movie. You have this cool concept where there are these entities that are basically immortal unless you chop their heads off, and there's no real explanation as to what happens. Later on, there's I think it's the last sequel called The Source, and I assume they go into why. But to me, the first movie, I shouldn't have a million questions. And you're right. Yeah. That weird ghost, those ghosts that bit him and did some weird shit, what was it about? The movie was so serious and mystical, and then at the end, it's like, and
then like you see the wires, and it's like all the ghosts are like hand drawn, and it was almost like you went from a sci-fi movie to a Disney movie. Like it was just like it was, and then like you said, where they put the doll head in there. It was just like,
Oh God,
who
I
did
don't
this?
know
Like,
why they
who's
did
the
that.
guy? Like,
Yeah, the
who
only
did
time,
that? So it was terrible. And then it's just like I felt the set, and they did good with the settings. I felt like with all the mirrors in the background, you know what I mean? Like it could have been a lot simpler. Y'all could have just did a whole bunch of sparks and stuff like y'all been doing, the glass breaking third, and left it alone. But no, y'all had to go add this whole extra thing, and I just felt like it was just terrible. Like that whole thing, and for that to be the climax, it was unnecessary and called for it.
Okay. My take on it, special effects, one of my biggest gripes. Besides that final scene, it was stupid. It took away the seriousness that the whole movie spent building up. I like Sean Connery's character. You know what I mean? For my whole life, I wondered if they all supposed to be against each other, why would you bother training one? Because what if the Kurgan died and then y'all had to fight? He even asked him, he said, yo, when we have to meet, will you take my head? And he doesn't answer him. But I get the sense that Sean Connery felt like until that day, why be wicked about it? Because he basically said if the Kurgan gets his way, he's going to lead mankind or mortals into a shitty state. That's the best I could gather. They never really,
Yeah, I took from it.
Okay. The special effects, one of the most annoying things other than the ghost, in my opinion, were the sparks of the swords. Because it was like, if metal clangs, I get it. But metal don't make everything spark. There would be times when they would drag those swords across shit and it was like sparklers. I'm like, that's unnecessary. When the Kurgan was destroying the castle with a sword, it was whack. It was whack.
That was terrible.
Yes.
Other thing I was going to say, the whole thing when the castle fell apart, I said, yo, he must have built the castle yesterday. The way it's falling apart. Like, it was ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Yes. You can emphasize strength without just being, because if that's the case, why don't the Kurgan just beat him up? What's the whole thing with swords if you're that strong? Just beat his head off. So, all right, the special effects, we're going to, would you call them kind of whack or just all out terrible? I would say terrible.
I would say all out terrible. And
Okay.
you know what I mean? And then the whole thing with, understand, it is that in the 80s, karate movies and samurai swords were very popular. So I get it. But I feel like they could have came up with something better. Like, it just was just like, I was just so disappointed. First of all, the first fight scene where they were in the garage, it was almost like they were counting 1, 2, 3. Like, it was just so, the special effects with the fight scenes were horrible. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't like it. I did like the fact that how they tied in the forensic lady, and she was able to date the swords to being over 3,000 years old and stuff like that. So I felt like it did give some kind of substance to them using the swords.
Okay.
I did like the way that the Kurgan sword broke. He could put kind of like he put it together the way it was a gun. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was interesting. I had never seen anything like that before. Okay. But it's like the whole use of the swords, I think if the fight scenes had been a little bit better choreographed, it would have made the sword play a little bit more interesting. But like you said, the whole thing with the sparks flying every time they touch something, I didn't feel like was even needed.
Okay. All right. Special effects, so we covered that. I feel like the strong suit of this movie was the acting. I don't feel like anybody was a super shitty actor in this movie. I believe the characters, even the characters who were only in the movie for like 5 minutes, like the black guy, because I want to call him the Black Highlander, but I think Highlander was only assigned to the main character because, and that's another thing that bothered me. This whole time I thought, it says your internet connection is unstable. You still hear me? Yo.
I can still hear you.
Cool. That's all that really matters. Can
you hear me? I can still hear you.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Because your audio, like, your opinion on this is going to ground the whole shit. That's, you know what I mean, reaching out. I can see you, it's just you're chopping up. When I don't know what to call the other characters, that's kind of stupid to me.
I'm trying to go close to the end.
Okay. Special effects. So I feel like the acting was cool.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah. When I thought the acting was decent, and the same thing with the black guy, where like you were just saying about as far as like good and bad, because the same thing, like the black guy, I took it that he was a Highlander, you know what I mean? Well, you know, some type of immortal, and basically I kind of guess it was like good and bad, like more or less like you know what I mean? We gonna rock, we gonna hold each other down for the best. You know, if ever come that we got to go against each other, then we'll deal with it then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like the acting was decent. Like you said, nobody. I felt like was just out of place. You know what I mean? Like I felt like even the females, all his wives. You know what I mean? Like I believed them. You know what I mean? And the women wasn't bad looking. You know what I'm saying? So it was decent as far as the acting out. I definitely believed all the characters.
That's the. In my opinion, that's the standout thing to get from this movie. The storytelling is cool, but since they don't, we as the audience have to fill in the blanks, the storytelling kind of misses. But the acting is solid. It's 80s solid shit. Even when people are kind of cheesy, it fits the movie. The cop, he was cool. And two things I got to point out. Well, one thing really, the characters. Me being a video game head, the Kurgan was played by motherfucking this dude named Clancy Brown. Believe it or not, he's the voice of Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob. He was the voice of.
Wow.
I know, right? He was the voice of the devil guy in Thor Ragnarok. Remember that dude who destroyed, you know, fulfilled the prophecy? He was that devil guy. He was the voice.
Right.
Yeah, and he was the voice of the dad in the video game series that I played called Mass Effect. I know you don't care much for that. Christopher Lambert was Raiden in Mortal Kombat. And Alan North, the captain, the police captain, he was the mayor in Lean On Me. I was like, yo, I know I've seen this dude in mad 80s movies, but one in particular, and he was gonna Lean On Me. You know what I'm saying? We already covered the special effects.
That's dope. That's dope that you it's you know what I mean?
I can't, anytime I watch a movie, if I see somebody, I'm like, yo, where was they from? It's like, you know what I mean? Plus, I try to have more structure to it. One trope we got to cover. Gratuitous nudity. If I don't know how to give it a number, but I will say this. As far as gratuitous, it was definitely gratuitous, even though it was brief, because that romance was forced as hell. She's following him. She just wants intel. And then he like, hey, what you doing in my place? And he grabs her. And for no reason other than she's a female in this movie, they not only kiss, I would have accepted that because tension is a motherfucker, right? They go on to have full-on Skinamax sex.
Right.
Only like 6 seconds. But I'll say this. I don't know how big his paycheck was, but I think in his contract, they was like, you'll get to suck a titty and grab their ass. He was like, cool. All right. Yeah, I mean, cool. Because I feel like the forced romance took away from that. That also took away. I hate that. Like, I'm all for nudity. You know, I like the female body. But 80s be damned. I'm not going to give that forced romance a pass. It was like, it came out of nowhere, dude. And then what was the significance of him lighting a candle for his wife on her birthday for hundreds of years, and now you're going out and you're going to smash this chick? It kind of threw away the character building. Because they even made sure that you knew he was a good guy. Because remember that. I don't want to cut you off. I don't know.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Because you froze up. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I was just saying, as far I do agree that when it happened, I felt like it was like out of place almost. Like, you know what I mean? Like here's a guy you're supposed to be investigating, just trying to find out who he is, this, that, and the third, and all of a sudden y'all end up in bed together. Like it just, you know what I mean? But as far as the actual visuals, like I ain't feel like they overdid it. Like, you know, they kept it brief. But on the same note, I do feel like in the 80s, they made it mandatory to show at least one boobie. Like you had to get at least one boob in there. Like it just like almost, you know what I mean? Like it's just like it was in the contract. We have to show at least some tit if we gonna make a movie. You know what I mean?
And I have no problem with the female body. I love it. Remember on Total Recall, they gave us 3 titties on one woman. I'm cool with that. But the movie did so much character building and this and that. And then it's like, yo, this woman who we've developed, she has a real job. She's been doing research. Let's just show her getting smashed. And it was like, I'll do it. I'll watch it because this movie ain't really stellar. It won't ruin the movie. But as far as my nitpicking, that's one. Right. So that trope was definitely like, they exploited the hell out of that. It felt like they only made him smash her because they was like you said, we got to show some nudity. It's the 80s. Second, when this crazy shit happened to her, he'll care more. Bro, you was just in church with this dude. Why you ain't keep him outside?
Right.
I get it. Y'all can't find on holy ground. But they really, that scene was unnecessary. He was like, I'll be outside. And then he just goes on to tease people in church. And then he like, after I tease your girlfriend, who will eventually be your wife, with no build up to love. After I tease your girlfriend, that's gonna make you want to fight me. He wanted to fight you before, bro. So, yeah.
Right. It like that whole thing in it was unnecessary. Like it made no sense. Like you said, for you to say, "Meet me outside," so he goes outside and you stay. Yep. You know what I mean? One part that I did like that I thought was disrespectful. I did like that they had it was when he came into church and he put out the candles with his hand. You know what I mean? I was like, ooh, like you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's your candle for your wife. But like you know what I mean? I thought that was cool. It didn't make any sense to me. That's why I was like, even the whole ride with them two in the car, you know what I mean? With the girlfriend in the car and all that. I just like, yo, this is so dumb. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it was hilarious. Like, after, you know, just the way he was acting. And then it kind of took away from, it made him silly almost. Like, up until this point, he was just like, it almost reminded me like the Terminator. Like, you know, like robotic, you know what I mean? Like everything. And then all of a sudden he goes like, he becomes human or something. Like all of a sudden now he's joking and messing with people. Like I didn't get that part. That whole section to me could have been deleted.
It feels like, I'm glad you brought that up because just like the sex scene, it feels like they realized they were almost 3/4 into the movie and they didn't fulfill enough stereotypes. We don't have the girl getting naked. Let's do that. This guy's a bad guy. We've already shown how bad he is and how menacing he is, but he's not doing evil, senseless shit enough. Let's just have him drive around New York. Funny part, when I laughed, I really laughed out loud, literally. When he was singing New York, New York, he sounded like Ja Rule. So I was like, this movie has like foresight or it's just a coincidence? But I thought that was great. New York, New York. I was like, yeah, to me, the Kurgan was already a good villain, and then they ruined him. And I agree with you as far as the fighting. It was pointless. That's been your arch nemesis, I guess, for hundreds of years. And the only reason you win is because the movie is coming to an end. I feel like they should have shown Sean Connery teaching him some kind of tactic because we were told that Kurgan is the strongest of them all for whatever reason, right? You know what I'm saying? And then magically you're able to beat him in the end.
Right.
Give us some like, you know, like at least in The Last Dragon, we when Bruce Lee was getting his ass whooped for whatever reason, you know, being on the brink of death when showing up was whooping his ass, he obtained the glow. And you know, it was like, oh, okay. There's a song that they've been talking this shit. Then the beat showed up. I like that. But in this, the only reason he wins against the Kurgan is because it's like, you can't have the good guy die. And now he has the quickening. The quickening I thought was cool, but I don't like that they never explained what it was. I thought it was when you chomp off another Highlander head and you get their powers. But then it was even, you can go near animals and obtain their, whatever they're good for. That was stupid. You know? Now he can like he can read everyone's mind just because there are no more like him. But that's bullshit because eventually there'll be more. The movie, again, not only did the movie not tell us the source of their power, it didn't tell us enough of how it works. And they might do that in the sequels, but since there's so many questions in this first movie, it falls flat to me. It doesn't live up to the legacy, in my opinion. So, yeah. So I done destroyed this movie enough. Would you, do you have any?
I would agree with that.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm all there.
I think if there's anything else. I think not I wasn't crazy. Okay. I also wasn't crazy. I don't know, man. It's just like the whole, at first I was under the impression that he somehow time traveled. You know what I mean? Because they would jump back from scene to scene. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, as watching the movies, like, okay, he just lives mad long. Yeah. But it's like, even like the whole, right, you know what I mean? So the whole Germany thing. So it's just like the whole main time you going back from like this Celtic era mm-hmm. when, you know, with the castles and the kilts and all of that, and back and forth to New York. And then in the midst of this, you throw in this whole thing like World War II scene where he saves a little girl who ends up being the secretary for the museum. And I'm just like, where did this really fall? Like, you know, where does it really fall into? Like, it's just, okay, you know, it's cool. He's raised this, you know, woman, but then it's kind of like awkward because it's like, okay, you've had her since she was a child. She obviously seems like she has, you know, affection to you, like, but it's just like, I just feel like it just was another one of those pieces where they just kind of threw it in there just to throw it in there, and it really didn't make any sense or have any rhyme or reason to.
I was less bothered by that only because
I would say that would be my only other.
Okay, I liked it, and I was afraid it would be like fucking weird, but he made sure to always kiss her on the cheek. I feel like just to play it safe, it should have been forehead kisses.
Yeah.
Because,
right.
You know, like, I'm like, oh, what's going on here? All right, because I don't care if she's old enough. If you raise her from a little girl, it's always going to be creepy. That's about it. I really, I feel like this movie was wasted potential. And I know the people who love this fucking shit would hate me for that. But you should have nailed enough in the first movie. Don't. Yeah, I mean, like, all right, I'm touching on Star Wars again. As a kid, I always thought Boba Fett was the coolest motherfucker around. Turns out, the fans made him cool. He got offed. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not even in the movie that long. But there was a fan appreciation for him so much.
No doubt.
That's why we got Jango Fett. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, yo, we're going to put some backstory in the prequels. And, you know, but Star Wars had enough. Mm-hmm. Where they fleshed out and you appreciate. This movie didn't, in my opinion. It didn't nail it in the first. I'm gonna watch the rest. No. Just because I just hope at some point they fill me in enough. But this is a swing and a miss in my opinion of the 80s movies. And Christopher Lambert, God bless him.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Okay. Who in the hell thought Christopher Lambert? Again, he's cool, but he must have like been real cool with somebody. Cause I'm like, I don't see the ladies flocking to you. I don't know, man. I'm a man, so I can't judge like a woman would. But I kind of when you look at Stallone, when you look at Schwarzenegger, when you look at even Van Damme, you see like, all right, they like even if you can't really fight. He did ballet, by the way. Van Damme. It was like, we're going to build this mystique around you, and you can sell it. Yeah. Christopher Lambert had a big-ass head, and he seemed like a relatable person. But I'm like, damn, how did you become this star? God bless him, you know? So like I say, he makes me feel hopeful.
When I looked at him, I'm like, he's got a big head, and he's funny looking. And it was just like, he wasn't a bad actor, but I'm just like he definitely wasn't a star to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, so I that kind of threw it off too. It was just like, man, I thought I could have felt like they could have got somebody a little bit cooler. So, like, you know what I mean? Like he didn't You know what I mean? Like even when he was when they was in it, like the Celtic times, he didn't seem like the toughest dude out of the crew. So I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did you end up picking him? You know what I mean? So I agree with that point too. Like I definitely, but like this, I commend you for watching any other ones. You know what I mean? Because I've had enough. Like I'm not going any further.
I'm gonna have to space it out because I got mad. We're gonna talk about Time Cop tomorrow, so I'm definitely not watching no more Highlander soon. But part of me is like, okay, my curiosity is like, do they ever elaborate on the skill set, where it comes from, the rules and the limitations? It's just curiosity because I already dipped the toe in. I'm like, I might as well get in the pool. I'm not saying I will ever be happy. I can see myself still being more disappointed. But since it's only 4 sequels, I'm like, maybe by the end of the year, I'll be all caught up and I can say that whole series is trash, or at some point it has its highs and lows. But I'm super glad you got down with this, sir, because especially now because we both agreed that it wasn't a great movie. So I feel like it was an even bigger favor to ask of you. But yeah, I had fun tearing down the movie and picking it apart.
No doubt, man. Me too, man. Just let me know next, the next one you want to get down on, and appreciate being involved. You know what I mean? This something it was real cool, and this first time I ever did something like this, and hopefully it won't be the last.
Well, shit, if that's the case, it damn sure won't be if you're down. But again, it's my man Jamil. He does all kind of art. I don't know whether to elaborate. Should I? Yes, sir. Sure. He does all kind of art. Rhymes.
Oh, well, we can
I won't take up your time, but just to give an explanation.
Music.
Yeah, you freezing up.
Right now, what I'm working on is basically, I guess the premise for the art collection is all based around sneakers. I'm a sneakerhead, but bigger than just trying to do stuff that's sneaker centric. I guess the word to use is really trying to add something to the culture and just to trying to elevate sneaker culture to another level. I really believe like sneakers are art, so I'm trying to create stuff that make people take art and take sneakers and maybe look at them on a higher plane. So that's what I'm working on right now.
That's just a smidgen, by the way, everybody. We talk about mad shit. Believe it, I ain't gonna mention age, but y'all would not guess how old this motherfucker is. Because we talk about shit and he's able to give me insight from things. You know what I'm saying? Even though he looks like he's probably like 2 or 3 years older. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool because we chop it up about movies, rap, and art. You know what I'm saying? He be putting shit like in places where you can go see his art. You know what I mean? So, but yeah,